have to fear is 4 more years of George Bush.
Yeah, the only thing I have to fear is you driving me home, Ted. That's never going to happen. Terry O'Brien on News Talk 890 WLS. Can we really trust these people to fight terrorists when we have Ted Kennedy up there telling us the only thing we have to fear is George Bush? Excuse me? Today we discover that there is a credible bunch of intelligence explaining to companies in New York City that they are to be on high alert. They need to, according to the Director of Homeland Security, they need to consider posting a security officer at the fresh air intake of the HVAC rooms and be sure the rooms are locked. They need to be, this is interesting, be wary of visitors who appear lost or disoriented and people asking directions. Be wary of loiterers. Be wary of, obviously, unanticipated deliveries, unanticipated maintenance. So, I mean, the only thing we have to fear, according to is this convention taking place on September 10th, 2001? 312-591-8900. I want to take your calls, but first, I want to share a couple things. There they go again. Today, the liberal Death Star. Here's the headline. Now, this story is about the fact that President Bush and Dick Cheney are going to resume campaigning during the month of August. And the headline says, Bush planning August attack against Kerry. And I thought it was pretty hilarious in Kerry's speech when he gave the shout-out to President Bush and said, you know, let's not be negative. Let's not say anything negative. In other words, translation, don't talk about my voting record, because I've just given this 55-minute speech in which I've gone from 1969 in Vietnam all the way to 2004 and kind of forgotten about 20 years when I was in the Senate, when I did everything I could to vote against every weapon system I could, to reduce the amount of money available for intelligence, to emasculate the CIA. I don't want to talk about that stuff. And if you do, that's going to be an attack. Now, on Friday, the president was in Springfield, Missouri, and he spoke about all the changes that happened since September 11th. And he responded to those who suggest that we aren't safer. And he talked about the fact that in Afghanistan, there are no longer terror camps, and in Pakistan, we have an ally helping us fight the war on terror, not a transit point for terrorists. And in Libya, we have a dictator who has abandoned his pursuit of weapons of mass destruction. And then he addressed Saddam Hussein as a ruler who was the sworn enemy of America. And he said he was defying the world. He was firing weapons at American pilots and forcing the world's sanctions. He had pursued and used weapons of mass destruction against his own people. He had harbored terrorists. He had invaded his neighbors. He subsidized the families of suicide bombers. He had murdered tens of thousands of his own citizens. He was a source of great instability in the world's most vulnerable region. I took those threats seriously. After September 11th, we had to look at the threats in a new light. One of the lessons of September 11th is we must deal with threats before they fully materialize. He talked about the 12 years of defiance and the role of the UN, and then he said, when he continued to deceive the weapons inspectors, I had a decision to make, to hope for the best and to trust the word of a madman and a tyrant, or to remember the lessons of September the 11th and defend our country. Given that choice, I will defend America every time. Now, John Kerry will defend us if we're attacked. 312-591-8900. Barb in Palatine, you're on WLS.
Well, hello there. Hello there.
Hi.
And when I heard the speech about the daughter with the hamster.
The hamster speech, yes.
Yes, it brought me quickly to the thought of Patty Reagan telling about the goldfish.
Yeah.
Was buried and how President Reagan gave her a lesson in life with this. And I thought, boy, that hamster certainly is a far cry from a goldfish with a theory on life.
And, you know, if it had been John Kerry's funeral and they want to talk about these little family stories, you know, that'd be one thing. But to be up there, you know, trying to tell us why your dad should be president and it's because he can give CPR to a freaking hamster.
Doesn't save the country, does it?
No, maybe, you know, maybe the hamster United States. I don't know. But the hamsters, by the way, are all voting for him, I understand.
Well, that's good. This shows how much brain power they have. But and then he's hitting the high hospitalization, and nothing said about the fact that tort reform is definitely needed, and the fact that his running mate who would not be elected in his own state. It could very possibly be president, which is a scary thought, scarier than Kerry, believe me. And the fact that this guy is one of those attorneys that sit there and makes the cost of hospitalization go up.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't want to talk about that.
You know, last night I was listening to your to a counterpart on LS during the night. Appalled that I was at how uninformed people are and how they don't present their cases as well as so many, not me for sure, but other callers, and of course you as the show moderator, for the homework that you do, and you cite all this information, and all that was being spewed was hearsay and thoughts and how bad the Republicans were. I wanted to turn it off, but I said, no, I have to listen to how bad this is to know that we are in really great trouble if for some reason President Bush is not reelected, because these guys just don't have a clue.
Barb, this is why I call the Democratic Party the lawless leading the ignorant. That's what I call them. And I think that when you listen to some of these so-called cases that they make, it's amazing. In fact, one of the people that was being lauded at this convention was Ben Affleck, who passes in Hollywood for a political expert. And I'm going to play some of the sound. And, you know, frankly, he is smarter than most of them, and he is very uninformed. So, anyway, but I appreciate your call. You're right about the goldfish. I forgot about that.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day. Bye. Bye-bye.